Hey, Captain TJ here. It is Monday, April 16th of 2018. And so, if you want to look outside real quick, well, you can't see it. Anyway, the wind's blowing, treetops are shaking. It's entirely too rough out there to be doing any fishing. But anyway, we have been out there, and the trout bite's picking up if you can find some clean water. Which hasn't been hard. The tides have been okay, and the water's cleaned up a good bit. We dealt with some dirty water there for a little while, but getting better. Fish are starting to transition more into the shallow stuff that we like to fish, where you're not having to do nothing but fish docks and bluffs and stuff like that, and you can start fishing some shallow shell bars and finding some fish. There's some rat reds out there, some decent redfish if you know where to look. Those fish that were on the flats over the winter, they're not going to leave the flats. They're still going to be there. You're just not going to be able to see them as easily. So still fish the flats for redfish. Look for the shells that still touch the water at low tide. When you see those shells that go completely dry at low tide and they're 50 yards from any water, a lot of times that's not where you want to be. But if you can find where that last piece of oyster shell is still touching the water, even when the tide bottoms out, there's usually some redfish there. Trout, like I said, creek mouth shell bars. Tripletail's been really good. Captain Jeff and I went out last Thursday. We fished about 2 hours. In that 2 hour span, we saw probably 10 fish. We got shots at about 5 of them. Out of those 5, 2 ate it. We missed one and caught one that was about 22 inches or so. So tripletail fishing, not bad. In the Sound, whiting fishing is good. You can go out there and catch 100 if you want to. Seems like there's some bigger whiting in the river more so than out in the Sound, so maybe not as many in the river like in the mouth of the McKay, stuff like that. Maybe on that I guess it would be the west bank on the ocean side of the Sidney Lanier Bridge. Some bigger whiting there. More out in the Sound, smaller stuff. Also some sharks out there for the kiddos if they want to catch the bonnet heads and sharp noses, plenty of those. Shark fishing behind the shrimp boats. First, we need some shrimp boats, and that's not happening yet. But if you get out there and get a chum slick going, there are some Spanish mackerel out there. So you put some shark baits out in your chum slick, soak those. You might start to see some Spanish come up in your chum, and you can toss some spoons at those guys. Offshore, it's about time to start catching the cobia in the R5 zone. They're going to be a good ways out there. Typically, the guys down in like St. Augustine, Jack's Beach, they want to see a water temperature of 69 degrees before they start sight fishing those cobia on the beach really heavily, and it hasn't gotten there yet. Here, the water temperature got up to about 63 and fell back down to 60 on Thursday. As I'm recording this, it's pretty cool outside. It's probably in the upper 50s outside. So that's going to make it hard for the water temperature to climb up to what we're looking for, which is 65. Anyway, cobia, more out towards R5. As it warms up, gets closer to 65 and 70 degrees, we'll start to see them transitioning up close to land. And by Memorial Day, they should be, usually the week before Memorial Day is when you catch those cobia on the 10-mile wrecks, like around F-Reef, Bait Barge, 2B, STS. That's usually when you see them there, is the week before Memorial Day. But up until then, they'll continue to get closer and closer. Oh, what else? That's probably it. Next month, we'll see the trout get on Cumberland Beach. Usually it's early next month. You'll catch them and it'll be kind of hit and miss, and then by the end of next month it's wide open. But early next month we ought to see it. I ought to start picking up some flounder pretty regular too. But that's it. Thanks. Go to charterfish.com, read our latest blog. It's got everything I just said and probably then some, plus there's pictures. So hope to get out on the water soon. Hope the wind lays down. Wednesday, west winds, seas 1 foot or less. See you out there. Tight lines.